Welcome to Reddit Revenge Stories. Did you know over 90% of people watch these videos but don't subscribe? If you enjoy stories of justice and payback, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to like the video if you're ready for today's story. Let's get to the story. I always thought love was about consistency. Not grand gestures or poetry, but showing up every day and choosing the same person again and again. I thought that's what I was doing, choosing Emma, my wife of 11 years. We built a life together, bought a modest house in the suburbs, shared morning coffees and late-night laughs, and weathered the storms life tossed at us. Or so I believed. I work in IT, not glamorous, not high stakes, but steady, predictable. I'm the kind of guy who has lunch at noon and fills out spreadsheets for fun. Emma used to say she liked that about me, that I brought peace into her chaos. She was more creative, worked in interior design, always moving, dreaming, sketching ideas on napkins. We complemented each other, or so I thought. Our son Liam is 9. He's got her smile, my stubbornness, and an obsession with dinosaurs that could rival any museum curator. I'd do anything for him, and I assumed that Emma felt the same. I never imagined that I'd one day question if our little family was even real to her. It started small. Emma grew distant. Nothing dramatic. Just different. She stopped asking about my day. She stopped touching my arm in passing. She was always tired, always busy. I chalked it up to stress, the ebb and flow of a long-term relationship. I didn't want to seem insecure. I gave her space. But then the late night started. She claimed it was work. Clients need last-minute mock-up, she'd say, or the contractor messed up the measurements again. I nodded, told her to take care of herself, even offered to help with Liam more so she wouldn't be so burned out. She kissed my cheek and said I was the best husband in the world. I believed her. It wasn't until I noticed she had changed her phone password that I began to feel the burn in my chest. It wasn't a red flag, not at first. I trusted her. But when she started laughing at messages she never let me see, silencing her phone when I walked into a room, and spending hours in the bathroom with it, even I couldn't ignore it anymore. One night, after she fell asleep on the couch, her phone buzzed in her hand. My heart pounded as I gently took it from her grip. The lock screen lit up. The message read, "Can't stop thinking about last night." My stomach turned. It was from someone named C, just the initial. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, the sentence looping in my mind. I didn't confront her, not right away. I needed to know. I needed to be sure. Doubt is cruel, but blind hope is worse. I started observing more closely. Her lies became obvious once I looked through the lens of suspicion. The business trips that didn't exist. The delayed client meetings that didn't align with her calendar. She even started going to the gym again. Only I noticed her workout clothes didn't smell like sweat when she came home. I hired a private investigator. I didn't want to. It felt like a betrayal of my own values. But I needed the truth, no matter how much it would hurt. He delivered it. Emma was having an affair with a contractor named Colin, yes, CA man she met through work. A charming, smooth-talking guy 10 years younger than me. The kind of man who wears fitted shirts and has perfect hair and a casual arrogance that women confuse with confidence. They were meeting at hotels, sometimes even during lunch breaks. There were photos, dates, receipts. It destroyed something inside me. Not just the betrayal, but the ease with which she did it. The double life. The lies she told me while kissing our son goodnight. The way she laughed with me one moment and texted him the next. But I didn't explode. I didn't yell or throw things. I played my part. Smiled at dinner. Picked Liam up from school. Even made Emma coffee in the mornings, pretending I didn't know her love for me had vanished behind someone else's touch. I was biding my time. Because I wasn't going to confront her. I was going to make her regret it. I started documenting everything. I took screenshots of the messages, recorded her phone calls when she stepped outside for air, and built a file so complete that even the best liar would crumble beneath it. Every excuse she gave, every location she visited. I logged it all, quietly, patiently. And then I started preparing. The house was in both our names, but the mortgage was in mine. The car was a gift from me, but the title still had only my signature. The bank accounts were joint, but I had a separate savings Emma never knew about. I wasn't planning a breakup. I was planning a demonstration, a life lesson. One night, she came home late, smelling like expensive cologne. She fumbled with her keys, her lipstick slightly smudged, her eyes wide when she saw me sitting at the dining table. "You're up," she said, nervous. "Couldn't sleep," I said casually. "Want some tea?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Sure." I poured us both cups. We sat in silence, the air heavy. She drank, glancing at her phone, tapping the screen, probably wondering why Colin hadn't replied. She didn't know I had already messaged him using her phone earlier, pretending to be her. I told him not to contact her anymore, that she was ending it. Then I blocked his number. I watched her that night. I studied the way her eyes flickered with anxiety, the way she couldn't meet my gaze. She knew I knew, but she didn't have the courage to say it. And I didn't have the weakness to let her off easy. I played the long game. I started pulling away, subtly. No more morning coffees, no more affection. I still talked to her, still smiled, but it was mechanical. She noticed, she tried harder, suddenly complimenting me again, planning dinners, initiating conversations about our future. But I could see the panic behind her efforts. That's when I began phase 2. I took Liam on more outings, just the two of us. I wanted him to feel grounded, safe. I knew a storm was coming and he didn't deserve to drown in it. I also began setting up meetings with a lawyer. I had everything, the proof, the timeline, the receipts, and I had a plan that would leave Emma not just exposed, but cornered. Then came the night I found the perfect opportunity. Emma left her laptop open. She was in the shower. I sat down and opened her email. She had written Colin a long message, unsent, still in drafts. She was telling him she was thinking of leaving me, that she couldn't keep living a lie, that she wanted to be with him. I saved it, then deleted it from drafts. When she came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, I looked at her and said, "Do you love me?" She paused. "Of course." "Would you tell me if you didn't?" "Why would you ask that?" "Just wondering." She didn't know it then, but her answer sealed everything for me. The next morning, I dropped Liam off at school, drove to the bank, and shifted all liquid assets into my private account. I canceled our upcoming vacation. I changed the house security passwords. And I prepared a letter she would read the day everything fell apart. Because I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to show her what it feels like to be blindsided, what it feels like to be betrayed, what it feels like to look someone in the eye and not recognize them anymore. And it was only just beginning. The day I executed the plan, everything felt strangely calm. There was no tremble in my hands, no racing heart, just silence. A cold, deliberate kind of silence that made every movement feel like I was flipping pages in a book I already knew the ending to. Emma had no idea what was coming. She kissed me goodbye like she always did. Light, automatic. Her bag was packed for another so-called client meeting, her outfit just a little too polished for something casual. I smiled and waved, watching her drive off with a kind of detachment I hadn't felt before. The woman I had once considered the center of my world was now just a character in a story that had taken a turn she never saw coming. After she left, I got to work. First, I went to her workplace. Not inside, of course. I had no interest in causing a scene. But I did hand deliver a sealed envelope addressed to her direct supervisor. Inside was a neatly organized file of her affair, including receipts of hotel bookings, work time misuse, and a long email trail that proved she had used professional resources to facilitate personal meetings with Colin. The company had strict policies about code of conduct, especially client relationships. I wasn't doing it out of spite. I was doing it to remove every illusion of safety she thought she had. Then I headed to the lawyer's office. He was waiting for me with a calm nod. I handed him a flash drive containing everything I had collected. Photos, audio, messages, the unsent draft from her email. He had already prepared the separation agreement and the custody proposal, both favoring me heavily thanks to her documented infidelity and emotional neglect. I want full custody, I said. You'll get it, Hay replied. The evidence is overwhelming. That night, I didn't go home. I stayed at my brother's house where Liam was already playing video games with his cousins. Emma didn't notice my absence until late evening. I had blocked her number. The only message she got was scheduled to be delivered at 9 p.m. sharp. An email from me with a single line. Check the envelope on the dining table. Inside the envelope at home, she would find the divorce papers, a copy of the evidence I'd submitted to her company, and a note. Just one sentence. I knew everything, Emma. I just wanted you to feel what betrayal really tastes like. By the next morning, I had 46 missed calls from her. I didn't answer a single one. She tried reaching out to my friends, my brother, even my workplace. No one responded. I had told everyone to let her sit in the consequences of her own choices. To feel the silence she left me drowning in for months. When I finally returned home the next day, she was still there, sitting on the couch, her face puffy from crying, makeup smeared, shoulders hunched. The moment she saw me walk in, she stood. Please, she said, her voice trembling, can we talk? I stared at her. Talk about what? I made a mistake, she said. I was confused. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't know how to fix things. But you knew how to lie. She stepped closer. I thought you didn't care anymore. You were always working. I felt alone. And your solution was to sleep with someone else? I didn't, she started, but then stopped. It wasn't about that. It was emotional. He understood me. I laughed. I actually laughed. Emotional? Do you even hear yourself? I was lost, okay? I know I messed up. But we can fix this. We can go to therapy. Please, let's just try. I held up my hand. I already filed. You've been served. And your boss has seen everything. Don't bother going in tomorrow. Her face paled. You didn't. I did. She stumbled backward, sitting down as if her legs couldn't hold her. You're destroying my life. No, Emma, I said. You destroyed it. I'm just closing the book. She looked at me with wide, teary eyes. What about Liam? I'm filing for full custody. Based on your conduct, my chances are very high. Her face twisted. You'd take my son away from me? I'm not taking him away. I'm protecting him from a mother who puts her selfish impulses above her family. She stood again, furious now. You think you're perfect? You think being boring and predictable makes you a saint? But being loyal and committed makes me a better parent than you. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. I left her there. Over the next week, everything unraveled for her. Her job, terminated, professional conduct breach. Her lover, ghosted her the moment the fallout began. I wasn't surprised. Colin wasn't in it for the long haul. He was in it for the thrill. And once it turned to chaos, he bolted like a coward. She tried to get Liam to talk to her, but I had already explained everything in a way he could understand. I didn't tell him details. He was too young, but I told him that mommy made mistakes and needed time to fix them. He asked me, does she not love us anymore? That question stabbed deeper than any betrayal. I just hugged him and said, she does. But sometimes grown-ups make choices that hurt people they love. And when that happens, we have to protect ourselves. He didn't ask again. He just hugged me tighter. The court hearings were swift. My lawyer was ruthless. The judge granted me primary custody. Emma was allowed visitation, supervised for the first 6 months. She cried in court, begged, apologized. But the law didn't care about her tears, and neither did I. I moved on with my life slowly, carefully. I didn't jump into anything new. I focused on being a good father, on healing, on rebuilding the self-respect she had chipped away at for years. People started telling me I looked stronger, more confident. Maybe I was. Maybe losing her was the first real win I'd had in a long time. One day, months later, she showed up at my door. She looked different. Tired, thinner, hollow. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, she said. For everything. You didn't deserve any of it. I nodded. No, I didn't. I hope you find someone better. I already have, I said, smiling down at Liam as he ran to me from the hallway. He reminds me of what really matters. She tried to smile, but her eyes were full of regret. Goodbye, Emma. Goodbye. And that was it. She left, and I closed the door, not just behind her, but behind a chapter I never wanted to read in the first place. I'd spent years trying to be a good man, and I was. She just chose to betray that, but in the end, she didn't just lose me. She lost everything. And I walked away, finally free. Time passed. Not quickly, not painlessly, but steadily. The kind of time that doesn't ask for permission before healing you, whether you want it or not. Emma kept her distance after that last conversation at the door. I heard from mutual acquaintances that she tried to start over in another city. She took on freelance work, joined a support group. Maybe she was trying to change. Maybe it was guilt. I didn't follow her story anymore. Her chapter in my life was over. Liam adjusted better than I expected. Kids are resilient. I made sure his days were filled with routine, care, and love. We started taking weekend trips, small ones to lakes and parks. I taught him to ride a bike without training wheels, and he taught me how to let go of bitterness without even knowing it. His laughter in the back seat of the car became the soundtrack of my healing. For a while, I kept expecting echoes of her to show up in my life. A message, an apology, some attempt to rewrite history. But she didn't. Maybe she finally understood that some wounds don't get second chances. That some people, when betrayed enough, stop waiting for closure and become it themselves. Then, one evening, I found something. An old photo of us, Emma, me, and baby Liam, bundled in a stroller at the park. We looked happy. And maybe we were at that time. I didn't tear the photo up, I didn't burn it, I just slid it into a box labeled Old Life and put it away. Not because I wanted to forget, but because I finally didn't need to remember. Now I wake up each day with a kind of peace I never thought I'd feel again. I don't wonder what she's doing or who she's with. I don't replay the lies, I simply live. And that, I've come to realize, is the greatest revenge of all. I gave Emma every chance to be faithful, to be honest, to be better. She threw it away for something fleeting. In return, I gave her what she never expected. Not anger, not violence, but silence, precision, consequence. She taught me that love without loyalty is just a performance. And I showed her that betrayal has a price. But I didn't break. I rebuilt. And in the ruins of what she destroyed, I found the strongest version of myself I've ever been. The kind of man who doesn't just survive betrayal, but rises above it, with clarity, with dignity, and without ever needing to look back.